I now give the floor to the distinguished representative of Pakistan.
President, I'd like to thank you for convening this timely joint debate on the implementation of United Nations resolutions and revitalization of the General Assembly's work. It is imperative that every institution continuously adapt and renew itself to remain relevant and effective. Pakistan aligns itself with the statement delivered by Algeria on behalf of the non-aligned movement. The General Assembly occupies a unique and indispensable place in the architecture of the United Nations. As the only principal organ with universal membership, it embodies the principles of sovereign equality and inclusivity that lie at the heart of the UN Charter. President, the consensual adoption of Resolution 79327 in September reflects the collective resolve of member states to strengthen the General Assembly and to make it more effective, dynamic, and responsive. Revitalization is not a procedural exercise alone. It is indeed a political endeavor aimed at restoring balance, equity, and democratic participation in the organization's work. Pakistan supports efforts to make the Assembly's work more efficient through rationalizing the agenda, streamlining resolutions, improving the quality of reporting, and promoting action-oriented outcomes. The Assembly's limitations do not arise from procedure, but from the reluctance of some member states to allow it to fully exercise its charter-based authority. The Working Group on the Strengthening and Revitalizing the Work of the General Assembly, established pursuant to Resolution 79327, must therefore address these political constraints and reaffirm the Assembly's central role within the United Nations. President, the General Assembly's role in maintaining international peace and security is broad and complementary to that of the Security Council. And when the Security Council is unable or unwilling to act, the Assembly is fully empowered to assume its responsibilities under the Charter. The work also extends to addressing the root causes of conflict and promoting peaceful settlement of disputes, including through mediation and arbitration in line with the Charter's principles. For the United Nations to remain credible, its resolutions must be implemented in both letter and spirit. They carry not only moral authority, but also legal and political weight, reflecting the collective will of the international community. All organs and member states must therefore respect and implement these decisions. Pakistan reiterates its proposal to establish a dedicated mechanism to monitor the implementation of General Assembly resolutions, supported by regular, detailed Secretariat reporting. Such a mechanism would strengthen the Assembly's effectiveness, accountability, and relevance. We also reaffirm that resolutions remain valid until their mandates have been fully implemented, a principle that underscores the enduring authority and continuing relevance of the Assembly's decisions. Pakistan attaches great importance to strengthening the institutional relationship between the General Assembly and the Security Council. The Council must report to the Assembly more frequently and substantively, especially when acting under Chapter 7 of the Charter. And in this regard, we welcome the continued implementation of Resolution 76262, which provides for convening the Assembly within 10 days following the use of a veto in the Security Council. Such mechanisms are vital to promoting transparency, accountability, and the democratization of the United Nations system. The Assembly's role in norm setting and the progressive development of international law remains one of its defining strengths. It has long served as the most inclusive and legitimate forum for building international consensus and codifying global norms. Norm making, the development and codification of international law must remain within this universal participatory framework. While Pakistan supports efforts to streamline the Assembly's work to enhance efficiency and avoid duplication, such measures must not result in privileging one UN pillar over another. The three pillars, peace and security, development, and human rights, are interdependent and merit balanced attention in the Assembly's agenda. It is therefore essential to ensure coherence between the UNAT initiative and the revitalization of the General Assembly. We further emphasize the need for transparency in relationship between the General Assembly and the Security Council, and for predictable and adequate resources for the office of the President of the Assembly. A well-resourced presidency is essential for an inclusive and effective Assembly. On the appointment of the Secretary General and Executive Heads, Pakistan reaffirms the principles of transparency, inclusivity, gender parity, and equitable regional representation. In revitalizing the General Assembly, we must also look to the future. The world confronts emerging challenges, from the governance of digital technologies and artificial intelligence to the sustainable use of outer space and global commons. The Assembly must remain at the center of these discussions to ensure that the global governance remains inclusive, equitable, and reflective of the priorities of all member states. President, a revitalized General Assembly is essential to a revitalized UN. It must embody the collective will of member states and ensure that no organ acts beyond the limits of the Charter. Pakistan remains fully and firmly committed to constructive engagement in this process to restore the Assembly's rightful place as the principal deliberative, policy-making, and representative organ of the United Nations. And I thank you.
I thank the distinguished presenter.